My name is Aoi Horiuchi. I'm from Development Unit of Japan Civil Society Network on SDGs, SDGs in Japan, short. I'm going to present about Northeast Asian situations for the Asia-Africa Democracy Forum 2021. This presentation is supported by my colleagues Akihito Hayashi, Haruna Kuraishi, Masaki Inaba, Noriko Shibata, and Yumiko Horie. All of them are from Development Unit of Japan Civil Society Network on SDGs. So let me begin with description of Northeast Asia. As you can see in the map, this region includes Russian Federation, Mongolia, China, Democratic Republic, People's Republic of Korea, and Republic of Korea, and Japan. So 6 countries in this region. However, this is the only sub-region where there is no official regional cooperation mechanism. I used this image from the Wikipedia, but I cannot find a proper official regional cooperation mechanism, unfortunately. But instead, there is several cooperation mechanisms, which include some of those countries in this sub-region. The one is ASEAN Plus 3. This includes ASEAN countries and China, Republic of Korea, and Japan. And also ASEAN Regional Forum. This includes Mongolia and DPRK. However, Russia is not included in this cooperative mechanism. And the 23rd ASEAN Plus 3 summit was held in 2020. And they published those declarations, strengthen joint efforts to restore economic growth in the region by enhancing regional trade and economic cooperation, such as blah, blah, blah. Then, the UN Political and Peace-Building Affairs, DPPA. This is lead entity supporting the Secretary General's living efforts to prevent and resolve conflicts at a global level. And this program includes China, DPRK, Japan, Mongolia, and Republic of Korea, but does not include Russia. And there's also Shanghai Cooperation Organizations, which is a part of a UN entity, but it includes only China, Russia, and Mongolia. So no Japan, no DPRK, or no Republic of Korea is included. So I'd like to describe the overall situation of SDGs in Northeast Asia. This table shows how 6 countries adopted SDGs and how they have set up their national goals and targets and indicators. As you can see, all 6 countries adopted SDGs by late 2019, DPLK. And all the countries has 70 national goals. But the number of targets and number of indicators is depending on each country. And the voluntary national reviews in Northeast Asia, as you can see in the table, at least one voluntary national review was submitted within this sub-region. And China 2016, 2021, DPRK 2021 this year, Japan 2017, 2021, Mongolia 2019, the first time. The Republic of Korea 2016. Sorry, I made a mistake, but Republic of Korea have not submitted VNR in 2020. So Republic of Korea have only submitted one VNR. And Russia 2020. And each country has a civil society report, although it was not established a civil society network, but I would like to highlight that there's CSO coalition for almost all countries except DPRK. In China, Kango, Chinese Association for NGO, is an umbrella organization. In Japan, Japan Civil Society Network on SDGs. And SDGs and CSO network exists in Mongolia. And the Korea SDG network and the Coalition for Sustainable Development of Russia in both countries. So here's a cover of 6 voluntary national reviews in this sub-region. And on the bottom, you can see some of the report which was published by Civil Society, CSO Spotlight report. You can also see the whole document by clicking the link. So this is a SDG index ranking from 2016 to 2021 in Northeast Asia. It looks at Japan and South Korea is one of the leading countries in this sub-region, while Russia and China are in the middle, and Mongolia is bottom, but there's no data about DPRK in the SDSM index. And the trend looks like that except China, Mongolia, the trend is kind of stagnant. Russia seems improving, but Japan and Korea, South Korea, and China, it seems that it's decreasing. And this is a SDG Index 2021 dashboard in Northeast Asia. And I'd like to highlight SDGs number 5, number 10, number 16, gender equality and reduced inequalities, and peace, justice, and strong institutions. As you can see that all the 6 countries, there are many obstacles and challenges in terms of gender equality. Although it seems that those trend is improving, actually, the situation is not good. I mean, no countries have achieved SDGs goals 5, and a lot of challenges and significant challenges or major challenges remain. And it can be also said about the reduced inequality and peace and justice and strong institutions. You can see that Japan has already achieved SDG goal 16 in somewhat. But as a civil society from this country, I can not agree with this result. There are many challenges remain in terms of SDG goal 16 in Japan as well. So as a whole, Northeast Asian sub-region can be said that the SDG goal 5, 10, 16 have not yet fully achieved. And okay, let's look at have a close look at the SDG goal 16 in Northeast Asia. According to this image, yes, Japan looks quite good. It's improving and it has already achieved SDGs. While China and Republic Korea, there are challenges remains, and DPRK, Mongolia, and Russia, there are many major challenges remaining. From this image, as I said in the previous slide, why Japan has achieved SDG 16 is that because of the choice of targets that they measure for this achievement. But we can see that there are 10 targets that can be measured from SDSN index, but no countries have fully achieved, of course, except Japan. But it seems that there are many challenges remains from this table. Okay, let's go to the next section about national mechanism on human rights in Northeast Asia. Here's a table about UPR recommendations and UN Human Rights Council membership or existence of national human rights institutions and human rights treaties. How many treaties they have each country is ratified. So the UPR number 3 have already finished in those 6 countries, and those 6 countries wait for the next UPR session in 2022 and between 2022 and 2025. And except DPRK, 5 countries have hold the UN Human Rights Council membership. And this is quite striking that half of this the countries in these sub-regions have national human rights institutions. Mongolia, Republic Korea, and Russia. So there's no national human rights institution in China, DPRK, and Japan. But if you look at the human rights treaties, Japan is one of the leading countries who ratified 8 human rights treaties out of 9, while China and DPRK ratified 5 or 6 treaties, followed by Mongolia, Republic of Korea, and Russia. And this is a table about how many recommendations were accepted by each countries from UPR2 and UPR3. You can see that the highest percentage of acceptance is by Mongolia, about 19% in UPR2 and 82% in UPR3. While DPRK of Republic of Korea only accept 42% in UPR2 in DPRK and 50% in UPR3. And Republic of Korea, 21% in UPR2 and 55% in UPR3. And there are on the right side of this table, you can see that there are top 5 recommendations for each countries. And all 6 countries received recommendations mainly about SDG Goal 16, about peace and justice. And followed by SDG Goal 10, reduce inequalities and gender equalities. And SDGs 1 for China, DPRK, and SDG 8 for Mongolia. And SDG Goals 4, education, one is one of the top 4 or 5 recommendations for China, Japan, Mongolia, Republic, and Russia, while DPRK receives recommendations on SDG 3, health. So this is a table about the COVID-19 data in Northeast Asia. The world average as of 4th of October, the number of deaths per million is 616. So the Russia, among 6 or 7 countries, including Taiwan, from this sub-regions, Russia is the only country which exceeds the world average, 1,444 deaths. While confirmed cases per million, the world average is 21,998, and Russia and Mongolia are higher than the world average. It's notable that China did quite good, although the initial stage of COVID-19 pandemic started in China. But since then, China have almost finished the spread of COVID-19 in these countries. And Taiwan is also a leading country in this sub-region and also the whole world. But we cannot find any data about the number of deaths or confirmed cases in DPRK, which is unfortunate. So this is daily new confirmed COVID-19 deaths per million people. You can see the trend from March 2020 to October 2021. So as you can see that Russia and Mongolia is experiencing the severe hike after June or September or October, mainly because of Delta variant and also the lack of vaccinations, while South Korea and Japan and China look stabilized. This is a daily new confirmed COVID-19 cases per million per people. Again, the new confirmed cases, the Mongolia is experiencing the hike recently, and Russia is, it seems, increasing. And this is a share of SARS-CoV-19 sequence that the Delta variant. As you can see, from April or May, June this year, the percentage of Delta variant becomes dominant in 4 countries. This is a share of people vaccinated against COVID-19 as of October 15th. South Korea and China, Japan has reached almost more than 75%, while Mongolia it remains below 68%, and Russia is quite far behind. Although Russia has the first country who made their vaccines against COVID-19 for the first time. But because of recent political scandals or people's mistrust to the government, the number of vaccination has not increased. So this is the impact of COVID-19 on democracy and human rights. Civic published this COVID-19 brief, Civic Freedom and COVID-19 Pandemic, in April 2020, and since then they have published 3 consecutive reports about civic space and COVID-19 pandemic. And according to this report, in China, the government initially responded to the outbreak by withholding information from the public, and also censored numerous articles and social media posts about the pandemic. And also, China's authorities are notorious for using technology for surveillance, unconstrained by privacy legislations. And the authorities have been using systems to catch, shame, and fine citizens going outside without face masks. And this is a rank about the category by International IDA, Democracy and Civic Space in Northeast Asia. You can see that this sub-region, it really depends on which countries. The civic space situation is quite different from country to countries. China and DPRK is categorized like authoritarian regime, while Japan and Liberal Korea and Taiwan is mid-range performance, and Mongolia is weak or low performance, and Russia is a hybrid regime. The global state of democracy indices also describe different situations in each countries. And for China, Chinese government has severely limited freedom of expression and media reporting on the virus. And DPRK, more than 6,000 suspected cases of COVID-19 in DPRK, which officially claim 0 cases. So as I said in the previous slides, there's no data available for the confirmed cases or deaths in DPRK. And in Japan, the report indicates that there's a lack of public trust in the central government in the light of the increased decentralization of powers to prefectures with regard to pandemic responses. And in Mongolia, an incident on the inhumane treatment of a COVID-19 patient in January 2021 led to the resignation of public officials and the prime minister in Mongolia. And the Republic of Korea, it is reported that the use of digital tracking tools at least privacy concerns. And in Russia, civics and media space is already restrained, and further crackdown on freedom of speech, media freedom, and freedom of assembly is seen. This is a table from the Economist Intelligence Unit, Democracy Index from 2016 to 2020. I have listed those 7 Northeast Asian countries from the top to the bottom. I look at the right side on the year 2020. The rank, it looks at Taiwan, Japan, and Republic of Korea are doing good. It's more than 23. The rank is Taiwan 11, Japan 21, and Republic of Korea 23. And the score is increasing. While Mongolia, the score is decreasing, and Russia and China and DPRK are kind of bottom countries. And also Russia and China, the score is improving, but DPRK is stagnating. And those Russia, China, DPRK is categorized like authoritarian regime, while Taiwan, Japan, Republic of Korea, and Mongolia is for democracy or full democracy. So if you combine those different categories from economist intelligence unit with the daily new confirmed COVID-19 deaths per million people. You can see that those countries who is suffering the most from the COVID-19 is categorized like hybrid regime or weak low performance, while Japan and South Korea is doing good with mid-range performance, and China is a kind of exception about also while authoritarian regime, but as COVID-19 cases or deaths is quite low. And if you look at the Civic as monitor for Northeast Asia, again, this civic space situation is different from country to countries. And while Taiwan is open, the only country in this Asian region, the whole Asia region, and Japan and South Korea are the two countries who is categorized as narrowed, while Mongolia is obstructed, Russia repressed, and China and North Korea, DPRK closed. And also I added those Civic's monitor index into the same graph. So you can see that Russia is a hybrid regime and also the civic space repressed. Mongolia, weak low performance and obstructed. Japan and South Korea is a mid-range performance and the civic space is narrowed. Again, the China is also exceptions, authoritarian regime and closed. This is a score by Freedom House on Global Freedom Score 2020. And according to this, China, North Korea, DPRK, or Russia are categorized as not free, while Japan, Mongolia, South Korea, and Taiwan is categorized as free. And the trend, if you look at if you compare from the previous year 2019 to 2020, the trend, the China, the score is decreasing, while the other countries almost remains. So this is the third categories from Northeast Asian countries. Hybrid regime replacement free for Russia. Weak low performance and obstructed free for Mongolia. Mid-range performance and narrow civic space and free democracy for Japan and South Korea. And China is the exception, authoritarian regime and closed civic space and not free countries. So this is world press freedom in Northeast Asia. Again, I also listed from the top to the bottom. In 2021, Republic of Korea is the highest rank in Northeast Asian countries, 46. And the trend is up. And Japan 67, the trend is down, and Mongolia 28. So Russia and China and DPRK are kind of bottom on the World Press Freedom Index. So they are also mentioned about World Press Freedom situation in those countries. In Hong Kong and DPRK, Japan, Mongolia, Taiwan, South Korea, and Russia. I will skip this slide. Okay, so this is the final part of my presentation about CSO's international engagement on SDGs. Each year, UN SCAP hold multi-stakeholder forum on sustainable goals in each sub-regions, and this sub-region, Northeast Asia. This forum started in 2017 in China, and in 2018 in Mongolia, and 2019 in Russia. And because of COVID-19 pandemic, it has held in online 2020. And this year, 28th of October, 29th of October, the 5th Northeast Asia Multi-Stakeholder Forum on Sustainable Development Goals will be held online. And this year's theme is building back better from COVID-19, while advancing the full implementation of the 2030 Agenda. So this is a photo from the third Northeast Asian Multi-Stakeholder Forum on Sustainable Development Goals in Vladivostok in Russia in 2019. Civil societies participate from 5 countries: China, Japan, Mongolia, Republic of Korea, and Russia. And we discussed the implementations of SDGs and how civil society view the government's efforts to achieve the SDGs. This year, we civil society decided to hold an independent session from the multi-stakeholder forum. The one is youth session. It was held on 15th of October, inviting a youth group from each sub-region, from each country in this sub-region. And 22nd of October, the civil society session will be held. And the 26th of October, local government session will be held. Those three forums, the results of those forums will be feed into the multi-stakeholder forum on 28th, 29th. So this is a global forum about development issues in these regions, and I would like to highlight the G7 and G20 summit in Northeast Asia. Looking back at 20 years from now, in 2000, G8 Kyushu Okinawa Summit was held in Japan. And since then, 2006, G8 St. Petersburg Summit was held in Russia. In 2008, G8 Toyako Summit was held in Japan. And G20 Seoul Summit was held in 2010. And Russian G20 was held in 2013. And 2016, G7 and G20 Summit was held respectively in Japan and in China. And 2019, G20 Osaka Summit was held in Japan. The next those kind of summit will be is expected in 2023, G7 Summit in Japan. So each year, civil society groups make policy recommendation to G7 and the G20 presidency. This is a photo from 2008 on the left side, G7 and G8 Toyako Summit in Japan. This is the Civil 7 dialogue, which representatives from civil societies make a policy recommendations to the Sherpa and representative of G20 countries. We also had Civil G7 dialogue in 2016 in Kyoto in preparation for the G7 Iseshima Summit. And we also had a press conference at the International Media Center in 2016. And this is just quite similar engagement mechanism exists in G20. C20 is one of the official engagement group of G20. And it started in 2013, G20 Civil Summit was held in Moscow. And in 2016, it was held in China. And in 2019, C20 Summit was held in Tokyo, in Japan. And this is policy recommendations to G20 in Northeast Asia. While in 2013 and 2016 in Russia and China, those are kind of a communique, it's like a declaration from the civil society. But C20 decided to publish C20 policy path from 2018 in Argentina presidency. And since then, C20 policy path is distributed among G20 leaders. And here's a table contents for each C20 recommendations. And if you look at that 2016, those themes include international financial architectures, environmental sustainability and energy, food security, jobs and employment, anti-corruption, post-2015 MDGs, financial inclusion, financial education. And 2019, those 10 themes, the policy recommendations are crafted by working groups of C20. So anti-corruption, education, environment, gender, global health, infrastructures, finance issues, labor, local to global, about civic space, trade and investment, and digital economy. Those themes continues in 2020 and 2021 as well, and beyond. So this is another international forum, which is called BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And 2 countries are included in BRICS from Northeast Asian sub-region, Russia and China, respectively. And the BRICS summit started in 2009, And since then, there are 14 summits, 13 summits as of 2021. And you can see that which year, which countries is the host of BRICS and which country is it. And also I have indicated that G20 and G7 summits in respective year. There are also civil society forum for BRICS in Northeast Asia. It started in 2015 as a dialogue between civil societies and academia. But since 2016, it's kind of an independent civil society forum started in India. So in 2017, China hosted third BRICS Civil Forum. And in 2020, Russia held sixth Civil Forum. And this year, BRICS Civil Forum 2021 was held by the initiative of India. And there are, this is a recommendation to BRICS countries. But I also like to highlight that there is an alternative way of engagement from the civil society to this important international forum, which is called People's Forum on BRICS. And this is actually happening right now, like 20th of October and 21st of October 2021. And it says that civil society engagement within BRICS is acutely underrepresented at the official summit. So social movements, trade unions, and progressive civil society organizations have created vibrant and democratic spaces outside the officially sanctioned civil BRICS to independently discuss, analyze, and forge unity among the people. So you can see that there are two ways of engagement to BRICS summit. One is kind of official civil forum, BRICS civil forum, and the other is People's Forum, or alternative way of engagement. Oh. Okay. So let me finish this presentation by concluding and highlighting some recommendations from my analysis. One is SDGs. So SDG implementations are still underway in all 6 countries in these sub-regions. And we can see that VNR reports are published twice by China and Japan, while other 4 countries have only published once. So VN reports needs to be published periodically, while consultations with civil societies are still limited. So it should be increased. And the statistics for SDGs should be more relevant than actual situation in this region, in the regions. The second, civic space and democracy. And we can say that there is slight correlation with civic space and COVID-19. If the country has more civic space, the COVID-19 situation is better. But if the civic space is limited, it can be said that COVID-19 is the number of confirmed cases or deaths is increasing. And also freedom of speech, assembly, and association of press freedom and attacked in half of these sub-regions. In third conclusion, COVID-19, with Delta variant, Mongolia and Russia facing serious surge in the last couple of months. The number of confirmed cases and deaths is increasing, while Japan and the Republic of Korea are stabilized, while no information available in China. But China's response should be shared widely, while civic space issues are solved. So we should not overlook the civic space issues, but we also need to learn how China responded to COVID-19 situation. So I'd like to finish this presentation by quoting saying from Mr. Clement Bull, UN expert on the rights of freedom, peaceful assembly and associations, which was actually published in April 2020. So it's about 1 month after the WHO declared the COVID-19 pandemic. The state's response to COVID-19 threat should not hold freedom of assembly and associations. Thank you. This is the end of my presentation.